Good offensive numbers again tonight. Good balance. A lot of receivers caught balls. What are your comments on the offensive performance?
Well, I thought the first half was, for a stretch there, tons of big plays, tons of big holes, explosive runs, a very efficient pass game. And you work real hard to get guys in the game, and the second half wasn't quite the same. So it looks like we got a ways to go with that second group. But really, if we keep that first group out there, who knows where that goes. So we got to keep building our depth, I guess, is the biggest thing I think my takeaway from today, on both sides.
Got to be happy with the special teams for the.
Well, yeah, you get a block punt, and that's, we didn't get a takeaway again, but a block punt is really serves that same purpose. Brennan continued to kick the ball in the end zone. I don't know that he punted real great. He had a couple opportunities that didn't probably go the way that he was intending. Return game wise, we just got the one kickoff. I know Taco probably wants the one back that he didn't catch, but I think we had an edge there just simply with the block punt.
So you had your number one offensive line there in that last drive going in there, and then you just kind of rotated them out.
Yeah, it got to be a 17-point game, and we needed to just end the game as soon as we could, I guess. And our second O-line right now, in a lot of ways, is our third O-line. But at the same time, those guys are here and they're college football players, so to get them out there and to get them experience is what today was about. So at the same, we needed to finish that game.
So you got the bye next week. You anticipate some of those offensive linemen coming back?
Yeah, I think so. I know Burke Mastel will be back. I think there's a strong chance JT Reed will be back. I know Justice Perkins is a little ways away, but at any rate, experience is like gold. You don't have an opportunity to, this isn't like practice. You get a chance to get out there and play in a game. Those guys, you learn what it's all about. So, I trust at some point these guys are going to have to get thrown in, and I say these guys, it's any one of those guys in that second wave, and tonight will be hopefully something to remember.
Earlier this week, you talked about the lack of sacks so far this season. Gets getting home a few times a day. What do you think of defensive front?
Yeah, we it's a mobile quarterback. I think a couple times early he broke contain, which was disappointing. But then ultimately we got to him a few times. I think when we have our top group out there on defense, and that top group of defense is a lot of D linemen. We can put all kinds of pressure on and make it really hard. And the big thing was. I remember looking at the scoreboard, they didn't have any yards rushing hardly. So when we can stop the run and make a team one-dimensional, that's when you pile up the pressure in those numbers. So, excited to get a few sacks and put them on the ground, and I think that's going to be something that we'll need as we move forward.
And rushing attack just affected today. Scott Trey and Adam again scoring a couple times.
Yeah. Big holes, the way I saw it. I think those guys were the ones that get the credit, but I think there was some big holes, and I think those guys are seeing it well. Scott Trey, Adam, Jared gets in there and does some good things as well. So, I think our running back depth is significant. Another game where I see Tommy had 5 carries, a couple big gains in there, a couple scrambles. So, we're moderating that pretty well right now.
Tucky had obviously the block punt, but then has been in there a good amount at safety. What can you kind of say about his emergence this year?
Yeah, I think that's a good word, because mid-season last year, Tucky was making a push to be a guy that as a true freshman we were going to play in some regard. Yeah, he went down. He went down like that first practice, what it was week 8 or something like that, and then he missed spring ball. So I think he's a guy that we saw last fall would be in line to be doing the things he's doing, and it just has happened a little bit later. So very instinctive, very good range, good tackler, all those things. I know he went down at the end, so hopefully he's okay.
And then just the atmosphere being the first home game of the year, what did you kind of just think about everything?
No, it was electric, and I know don't take that for granted. I think our fan base is amazing, and our atmosphere is something else. And I know it. After being on the road a couple weeks, to be back home, I think it certainly charged our guys up, and I think our guys certainly fed off that energy.
when you make such big plays early too, how much does that just boost the momentum when the crowd's just going crazy?
Yeah, I think it's contagious, right? Both sides of the ball, and God, we were scoring fast, and so fast our defensive guys had already sat down, and we got a couple of those guys on the extra point, and we couldn't get them out there. So, no, I think it was fast and furious that first quarter, with the defense getting them off the field, and then us being able to score quickly. So, I think those first 5 possessions, I don't think that could have gone any better. And then, we had a couple opportunities with the 2 minute before the half too, and that was good work. I know we yielded a field goal, but that's always good work to get.
How do you balance? You're up 35-0. You have an opportunity to get some guys on the field, but you also want to make sure you close out the win. So how do you sort of balance?
Yeah, not real well tonight. I'll be honest. But at the same time, those guys, those guys are a lot of people that are waiting in the wings, and game experience is so critical to their growth, because sometimes it exposes you, and when you're exposed, I think you go back to work, and if you're a competitor, you want to get better, and maybe you look at practice a little bit differently, maybe you look at your film study a little bit differently, and ultimately we won't need all those twos and twos and threes and those, but we'll need some of them, and we took a few lumps tonight. That's part of the deal. It was frustrating, to say the least, but that's what you need to do. You need to grow your program. You need to get guys in the game, and sometimes it goes better than it did tonight.
What did you think about Chance Wilson and Jordan?
Well, I think we'll have to look at the film. I think Chance made a few plays. I think that's my first assessment. I would like for him just to keep that ball and get the first down there at the end instead of throwing it downfield. I think he got the first down, but that's his first game action. Jordan, we didn't get really anything going too well with him. So to get them both out there, again, very valuable, and that backup spot, us continuing to sort that out is unfortunately for us right now an ongoing process.
New scoreboard and parking lot, some changes around the stadium, obviously the indoor being built. Did it feel any different out there, or did it kind of feel like it's been the last few years?
No, I think it just looks better around the stadium. I think just the way everything looks and feels. I think it's got a big time feel, and you see that indoor going up. That's the real deal, and I know it's moving fast. And then the scoreboard. I hope the video and all that stuff made the fan experience that much better. I didn't like that the one on the Sunny Holland end didn't work, and we didn't have a play clock on that end, but we'll get that figured out. And I think the sound, I'm sure, was much better for the fans too.
Just going into a bye now, 3-0, just initial thoughts, kind of just going into this stretch.
Well, yeah, I suppose record-wise we're where we wanted to be. And I think it's the bye comes at a good time with the early start, going back to the last week in July. So, hopefully we are healthier come Mercyhurst, and hopefully we can take a step forward over the next couple of weeks as we prepare for conference play. I think we got a really good conference right now, and that schedule is going to be a grind. So, a really important couple of weeks here to continue to solidify our depth and go back to the drawing board. I think maybe at some positions, just after assessing that film today, I think we'll be part of it. Again, practice can look different than the game, and I think it maybe did in a couple cases. Long answer to a pretty easy question. I think we're in a good spot, but we're far from where we need to be.
Good.
Coach, really quickly, can you also talk about Ryan King? He started to settle in this week.
Yeah, Ryan's coming along. I think anytime you add a guy as late as Ryan, it was July 8th. I think he showed up here. There's going to be a bit of a process, just in his comfortability, and he's got playmaking ability. I think that's starting to show up, and find ways to use his ability and mix those guys. I think we have in Ty and Junior and Taco and Ryan King a really good group of guys. We'll get Jacob Trimble back here as well, and you know, I think we do have some weapons, and they're all a little bit different. So Ryan, you know, Ryan's addition while late in the game for us, I think has been, you know, good to this point.